on.
Hello, welcome to Meet Me at the Movies. Noel T. Manning II here, hanging out with Thomas Manning. And Thomas, remember last week I was wearing a Hawaiian shirt and we were talking about that movie Spider-Man Goes to Hawaii. And,
yeah, I remember that very well.
You told me I was wrong. Well, we did get some non-viewer mail, and it was such an underwhelming amount of non-viewer mail that was asking, hey, if you do a special on looking at summer preview movies, why don't you put on another Hawaiian shirt and maybe put on some sunglasses? So for that non-viewer out there, Mr. Glenn Taylor from Bellwood, we want to thank you, and we hope we measure up. Thomas did not do the Hawaiian shirt thing. He refused, but he did bring out some shades. So
yeah, well, I just knew the Hawaiian shirt on top of these shades would be way too much for anybody to handle. And I think this is enough to process at one time to begin with. So we'll start there. We might ease into a Hawaiian shirt within the next few weeks, but just starting out with sunglasses and, looking ahead to the bright future of summer movies. So
that's right, and you got to wear shades when the future is bright, man. Well, we are coming to you from C19 TV, and we appreciate you guys spending time with us. And we are going to dive into some movies that we think you may be interested in. There's no way that we're going to get through our whole list, but we're going to cover a few, and we decide to come back for a second installment on summer movie previews. We'll do that as well. Well, Thomas, I'll let you kick off the show, man. What's on your list that you think people may be interested in checking out? Can be a blockbuster, can be a hidden gem. You choose.
Yeah, so this is a movie that's approaching very soon. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. We're going to have this May 23rd is its release in the United States. And really, I think pound for pound, the Mission Impossible series is the greatest action movie franchise of all time. And I think this film is really a testament to the significance of action as a storytelling mechanism and not action as purely spectacle. Of course, the idea of the spectacle is what brings us into these films. But once you're on board as an audience member, you discover a much richer character study of this Atlas-type protagonist, Ethan Hunt, played by Tom Cruise, who's basically carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. And it's almost at this point a 30-year character arc for him, or at least in our world, with the first film back in 1996, and now here we are in 2025. It's one of my favorite character journeys we've ever seen. And I really think it was the introduction of writer and director Christopher McQuarrie, his introduction to the franchise that really unlocked the full potential of the emotional journey of Ethan Hunt. McQuarrie came on as a consultant on Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol back in 2011, and then he's written and directed each film since then, including Final Reckoning, which it's right there in the title. This could be the final chapter for Ethan Hunt, or for this iteration of the Mission Impossible franchise that we've grown to love over the 3 decades now. This seems to be just the most epic start to the summer blockbuster season that you could hope for. And I cannot wait to see this multiple times. We've seen some of the marketing, Tom Cruise hanging from the side of a 1930s biplane at 10,000 feet, going 140 miles per hour. We know there's also another major underwater stunt, which Tom Cruise has been known to do. I know over the course of filming this, he had to wear a very special underwater suit and breathe in his own carbon dioxide just to get the take. Which it's kind of what we have to do here on Maybe in the Movies to get everything right. But I'm not comparing us to Tom Cruise, but
why not? Why not?
Because I think we're a little bit better than Tom Cruise, to be frank. But I'm not comparing him to us, is how I should say it.
Well, Thomas, I'm not going to say a whole lot about this movie because I want to make sure we get through some more. But I do want to say, over the past few years, there are certain films that, looking into the summer, I knew I wanted to see. Top Gun Maverick was one of those. Knew I wanted to see a Tom Cruise film. Twisters, was one of those I knew I wanted to see, did not disappoint. And this is one of those that, without a doubt, was on my top list that I knew I wanted to see this summer and could not wait for it to be on the biggest screen with the biggest sound possible. Any final thoughts you want to make sure you share on this film before I give you one that's out of left field?
Yeah, well, a few newcomers in the cast here. We have Nick Offerman, who we know from Parks and Rec, of course, Hannah Waddingham from Ted Lasso, and Holt McElhaney, great character actor, who we just saw give an incredible performance a couple years ago in The Iron Claw. Very excited to see their dynamic as they either face off or team up with Tom Cruise. You never know what Ethan Hunt's going to require of the people around him, so I'm interested to see how they that interplay there.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to that without a doubt. Well, Thomas, I'm going to throw one out there that maybe you may not even have it on your radar. But when I knew that Danielle Deadwyler was going to be having a film that was released during the summer, I put it on my list. I got to interview Danielle a few years ago before she made it big and got an Oscar nomination. And she is starring in a film called 40 Acres that'll be released this summer. It's a post-apocalyptic thriller. It's written and co-written and directed by R.T. Thorne. This film, I'll let you look up the synopsis of it if you want to, but filmed in Canada. And some of the themes that show in this film, survival, resilience, and post-apocalyptic settings, also family dynamics and generational conflicts, and also the preservation of cultural heritage and identity. And two of those themes are things that we saw in the movie Sinners earlier this year as well. And so I'm really interested to see what will happen with this. I think if you are a fan of character-driven post-apocalyptic films or narratives, this may be one you want to check out. Also, stories that highlight perspectives, indigenous perspectives, that may be something that would want to throw up on your list. And audiences that might be looking for kind of thought-provoking thrillers with some emotional depth and something that's outside of the franchise. So many franchise films, reboots, and things like that we see every summer, and that's great. And you and I love to see some of those. We just talked about Mission Impossible. But also, when you can find something original and something that's different, that's not part of that, that's well worth checking out. So 40 Acres is a film. It's here's what we're hoping for. It's setting up a very gripping exploration of survival, family, and identity in a world that is teetering on the edge. With Danielle Deadwyler, I can expect nothing but a powerful performance and a film that really might be one of those wonderful additions to these post-apocalyptic films and stories. So I think preparing yourself for a journey that may challenge perceptions and also celebrate resilience, those are all the things that I'm looking forward to in 40 Acres. So I just wanted to make sure I got that film out there.
Yeah, Danielle Deadwyler, you were on board that train long before I think a lot of people were. And she's been really one of the hardest working women in Hollywood over the past 5 years or so. Everything from, she was Oscar nominated for Till, and then a film like this that you mentioned. And then even she's not afraid to take on any project. She doesn't turn her nose up at anything. We saw her in Carry On in the Netflix film that came out at the end of last year, the action thriller with Jason Bateman as well as Taron Egerton, and she was phenomenal in that. So I think whatever material she gets, she's going to give it her all. And so, 40 Acres is definitely one that's going to be on my watch list for sure this summer.
Yeah, and she was also in The Piano Lesson from last year. We don't want to forget that one as well, and that was just an incredible film. And back in 21, Harder They Fall. So she is absolutely phenomenal. For sure. And then just recently in The Woman in the Yard. So she is, like you said, she's all over the place, man, all over the place. All right, man, we'll give us another one before we go to the break.
Yeah, so Wes Anderson, just about every couple of years, he has a new film, and it's that time again. This time, The Phoenician Scheme is the title. and starring Benicio del Toro. It's being described as an espionage black comedy. And I also love that Roman Coppola is once again collaborating with Wes Anderson here. They've worked together for many years, going back to the Darjeeling Limited, Moonrise Kingdom, Isle of Dogs, The French Dispatch, and Asteroid City. And I have just adored every single one of those, and especially how those films explore very human struggles, whether that's, grief or mourning or longing, but in this Wes Anderson package. And I think with Wes Anderson's visual style, the meticulous production design and the sets, and the way that the camera moves through these very intricately designed art direction, all of that, I think sometimes people miss the point of the substance at the core of these films. And you can just watch it from that standpoint and walk away saying I had a really fun time with how whimsical that film was, but there is so much more beneath the surface of any Wes Anderson film. And I love the way that he walks that line between whimsy and some of the darker sides of the human experience, and I'm looking forward to seeing that continued explored in the Phoenician Scheme, and having some espionage elements in a Wes Anderson film sounds right up my alley. Also, Michael Cera is in this, and what's crazy is that Michael Cera and Wes Anderson have never collaborated together, but you think his sensibilities as an actor, his energy, his screen presence, that's just a match made in heaven for the style of Anderson. And when I first saw that it's their first collaboration, I had to go back and triple check that, because to me there was no way that was true, but it certainly is, and it's gonna be really fun to see what they concoct together here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I'm the same way. I had to go back and look. I'm like, man, I know they've worked together before, and I'm like, wait a minute, they haven't. And it really does, like you said, it's like a match made in heaven, or at least a match made by Wes Anderson for sure. The name of the film again?
The Phoenician Scheme, and that comes out on May 30th.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick intermission. Thomas and I are going to get our shades back on, because we got plenty of cool things happening during the intermission, and afterwards we're going to come back with a few more films you may want to check out this summer. And I can already tell we probably are going to do a part two for summer movie preview. So stick around right here on Meet Me at the Movies. We'll be right back.
Hey, let's make one humongous cookie.
Oh, wow. Oh, no. It's growing.
It's after your dog. Behind you.
Pillsbury chocolate chip cookies. Hey, you can play with our food.
Boy, did he go to pieces.
Won't you come and meet me at the movies? Won't you come and watch a flick?
Hi, I'm Shara Miller, the host of Artworks. Each month we bring to you wonderful, talented artists from here in Cleveland County and the region. We have artists, we have potters, we have painters, we have musicians, we have actors. We just have wonderful artists that come to you and tell you about all that they're doing, their creativity, what inspires them. Join me here on Artworks each month on C19. You can also watch us online at C19 TV.
Won't you come and meet me at the come and watch a flick?
Hi, and welcome back into Meet Me in the Movies as we preview summer movies. I am Thomas Manning here alongside Noel T. Manning II, who once again looking to the future and was blinded, or maybe he just got out of an eye dialysis appointment. Yeah, could be one of those pupil dialysis, whatever they're calling it these days. But I know the pre-summer movie season, I guess you could call it, I think kicked off with Thunderbolts, which we discussed on the show last week. And there's a few more films in the superhero sphere this summer. And I know one that is probably the superhero that if you ask anybody who's never picked up a comic book in their life, they at least know this character, and that is Superman. There was a new Superman film coming out. And this is actually our first solo Superman film in 12 years now. Last time we had was Zack Snyder's Henry Cavill introduction with Man of Steel in 2013. And now we have James Gunn, probably one of the greatest comic book movie directors that we've seen of the past few decades. And we got a newcomer as the Man of Steel himself, David Cornsweet. And I know you wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about this one, Dad, so I'll let you get into that.
Yeah, this has been a film that I've actually really been looking forward to ever since I heard that James Gunn was attached. We saw what he did with Guardians. We've seen what he's been able to do with some other things as well from a writing standpoint. And he has an understanding and appreciation, and I think a command of bringing comics to life in a way that has his stamp on it. And so, in this particular version of Superman, I think it's going to kind of redefine the Man of Steel for a new generation. I think it will blend traditional elements. We've already seen some of that in some of the trailers and also some of the behind the scenes stills, but I think it'll combine that with some modern sensibilities as well. I think under James Gunn's direction, I think we're going to see an exploration of Superman's character that maybe we haven't seen before, and it'll probably set the stage. We know it's going to set the stage for future DC Universe narratives. So I'm encouraging people to check this one out. I know I will. If you're into superheroes, this is one that I don't think you can miss this summer. First time that we've seen, Crypto on screen. We know that dog's going to show up, and you and I, Thomas, used to love to watch the Crypto animated series, and so to now see a live action version of Crypto popping up, and then James Gunn. If you watched any films that he's been connected with, there are certain character actors that are friends of his that will always, not always, but he's typically going to have some of his friends showing up in his films, and that's going to be happening here as well. And we know, Nathan Fillion's going to be there as Guy Gardner in the Green Lantern. We already saw that. You've already mentioned David as Clark Kent and Superman, but also Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, and a former co-host of this show, Catherine Manning, got her picture made with Lois Lane a few years ago, and Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. We love Holt. You and I have been able to, see him work and see what he can do. So I'm really excited about what this film can offer. I think we are going to continue to see kind of that struggle of the dual identity and where do I belong? That's a question I think is probably going to be there, and also responsibility of power and moral integrity. We'll see that. But also one of the things that when you think about traditionally Superman, there is always you think about hope that is connected to that S on his chest, and hope and heroism in the face of adversity. I think we can definitely count on that for sure. This is on my list for sure, Thomas. Superman, and do you have that release date on that one?
Yes, Superman coming to you July 11th.
All right, July 11th for Superman. It is on our calendar. All right, Thomas, what else is on your list you want to make sure you cover in part one of a 7-part special of summer movie previews?
Yeah. This is going to take us through the entire summer. Actually, we're going to record these weekly. Um, but from the world of John Wick, we have the upcoming film Ballerina, starring Ana de Armas, and this takes place between John Wick Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. And if it was a sequel to the fourth John Wick, I don't. They would be a little bit limited based on how that film ended. Won't really give any spoilers, but you can find that out for yourself if you want to. So I'm fascinated to see some of the gaps being filled in here, and to see an entirely new protagonist in front of the camera. And of course, reprising their roles from previous entries in the franchise. You have Angelica Houston, the late great Lance Reddick, and Ian McShane, and of course Keanu Reeves himself will pop up in some capacity in Ballerina. And this is directed by Len Wiseman, who you might not recognize him by name, but some of the films he's had his fingerprints on over the years. He worked on the Underworld franchise. He directed almost all of those films, I believe, and he directed Live Free or Die Hard, which was the fourth Die Hard film, which I know the Die Hard sequels kind of, some people have a contentious relationship with those, but I think Die Hard 4, I was a fan of that one. That was one with Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Justin Long, and I think Wiseman, we saw his capability to take on a beloved action franchise and give it, insert its own voice into that in a productive way. And so I'm looking forward to see him do that again with Ballerina. And I know a lot of the same stunt crews working on this as worked on the John Wick franchise. And once again, I cannot overstate how pleased I am that we have a stunt Oscar on the horizon, and just they've continued to up the game with each passing year. And I just think it's a beautiful thing that some of the unsung heroes get that or finally getting that recognition. And so Ballerina from the world of John Wick, quite excited about that.
Yeah, me too. And you think about the world of John Wick, this is a franchise that almost did not happen. And when it did, it was really there were not a lot of expectations for it. And then, man, it exploded, and exploded through multiple films and also a TV series as well. So hats off to those who took the chance, put their money up to bring this franchise to life. Well, Thomas, I want to talk about a franchise and one that goes back quite a few years. And this is one that's got a true family connection to us, to our family. Freakier Friday. I really honestly never thought we would be able to see any kind of sequel to Freaky Friday with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. There's so much nostalgia about that remake of a film when it came out that just connected to us as a family. I don't know how many times we saw it when it was out in theaters, but we embraced it there, also embraced it for home delivery. And then I got a chance to interview Jamie Lee Curtis for Knives Out, and I got to share what kind of she's meant to our family with that film in mind. And so when I heard that they were, it was 2003, Thomas, 2003 that film came out. And when I heard they were going to be doing a kind of a legacy sequel to it, I said, wow, I'm intrigued with where this is going to take us. And, where this is going to take us is Lindsay Lohan's character is now, a mother, and she's part of a blended family. And so she's kind of navigating motherhood, but not only, of course, we're going to have the body swaps, but from what I understand, a quadruple body swap is going to be happening within this particular film. So there is going to be music back in this one. There's an original song performed by Lindsay Lohan as well, and Jamie Lee Curtis has already predicted that that's going to be a monster hit and the anthem of the movie. Some of the returning cast members, Chad Michael Murray comes back. Also, Mark Harmon will be back as well. So this is a film, if you're looking for a family film for the summer that will offer a little nostalgia for for maybe young teens, but also those that are of the age of Thomas and Catherine Manning, and even their parents. This may be a film worthy of checking out. So, looking forward to it. I'm hoping that we can get Catherine back in town so we could all go check that out as a family. Thomas, any thoughts you want to make sure you share about Freaky or Friday?
Well, yeah, I know that VHS tape that we had for a long time. You probably couldn't. I think we wore out the tape on that. The reel is probably burned to a crisp. So, which if that shows you anything about how much we loved that film for 2003.
Absolutely. Well, Thomas, we've got 3 minutes. Anything else you want to make sure you mention before we wrap up, or do you want to save it for round two?
Oh yeah, I'll briefly mention a film that you might not have heard of. It's coming out June 13th, and it's a rom-com from A24, which we do not often get. And but this is written and directed by Celine Song. The title of the film is The Materialist. Celine Song, you might know her as the filmmaker who captured our hearts a few years ago with Past Lives, a film about a very complicated love triangle. And I'm really excited to see her work again in her second feature film. This one starring Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal. Basically, Dakota Johnson plays a matchmaker. Her profession is to match people up on dates, but she happens to be struggling in her own love life. So it's quite the situational irony she's dealing with, and so it's been a while since I've seen a good, really strong rom-com, and I think this might fit the bill here, and especially knowing that A24 is putting their company behind this, and they always work with incredibly creative people, and I trust the projects that they put their name behind. So I'm really excited about The Materialist.
Good choice. Well, Thomas, when we come back in our next episode of Summer Movie Previews, I'm hoping to talk about a live action remake that I'm looking forward to, also a Spike Lee film that I'm looking forward to, and a Stephen King adaptation. Those are more on my list, so that's a sneak peek. Any teases you want to throw out there for what you want to talk about when we come back for part 2 of our summer movie special?
Yeah, well, let's just say if you're a big fan of old man Bob Odenkirk still finding a way to kick butt in action films, well, just be on the lookout for Nobody 2, and we will be discussing that further. I know that for sure.
Awesome. We appreciate everybody spending time with us. Hope you've enjoyed us giving you a inside look for some of the films this summer that you may want to put on your calendar. You can always email us, those non-viewers. We appreciate you, and we will dress up for you. We will do all sorts of crazy things for you. The email address, info@c19.tv, info@c19.tv. And Thomas Manning, appreciate you, man. It's always wonderful to have your insight and your knowledge that's just somewhere filed away. We know that you get all of that from your mom. Because she is the smart one in your family. For all of you that takes the time, again, we thank you, and we encourage you to get out there, have some fun, and if you've got ideas of films that you'd like for us to check out or talk about, or even TV series, send them our way. We'll be glad to check those out. Well, I will. Thomas will go, I'm not looking at that. But thanks again.
Especially if it's from John Rudisill. Yeah.
Yeah, or Tim Foster. Yeah, Tim's got some crazy things that he wants us to check out, and we just kind of shake our heads and say, all right, Tim, we'll put that on the list. So, are we still recording? Oh, okay. Well, we better wrap things up right here at Meet Me in the Movies. Till next time, for Thomas Manning, I'm Noel T. Manning II, and for this week, that is a wrap.
We'll tell about the happy and the sad ones. We'll talk about the good ones and the bad ones. Many films to view till we meet again.